So I always say that the success of a choreography is not what you do, it's what you don't.
Namaskaram, Akka. We're very happy and delighted to have you as part of our Artfelt conversations. And welcome to Arizona once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Akka, we would love to know how your relationship with Natyam came about.
So nobody in my family used to dance. So I'm not from a traditional dancing family. I just got married into a dancing family. But my mother was very interested in dance. And she really wanted to learn dance when she was young. But she was in Kerala and she didn't get any opportunities. And then she got married to my father, who was in the army. So she had to leave Kerala and then she had to come to northern India. So one day in Pune, she was expecting me and she was 9 months pregnant. And my father was posted there in Pune at the College of Military Engineering. And I was the fourth kid, my mother's fourth child. And my mother heard that Yamini Krishnamurthy has come to perform in the campus. So she got very excited and then she went to see the performance. And I believe throughout the performance, I was kicking and very excited. And then you know how mothers are. She kept saying that I was kicking in rhythm, I believe. So, so and then you know she would do Bharatanatyam first half and Kuchipudi second half. And then so when she would do when she did the Kuchipudi, she danced on the plate, the tarangam. So my mother couldn't see because it wasn't a proper auditorium; it was in the lawns. So she couldn't see properly. So she stood on top of the chair. Imagine a full-term pregnant woman stood on top of the chair to get a better view of the dance. And that night I was born. Wow. So, and my mother thought that this child has to learn dance from this teacher. So my guru was chosen for me even before I was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
How have your gurus inspired you till how much you have done today? And having a guru, Srimati Saroja Vaidyanathan Amma, in your family, how's that experience molded you?
Yeah, so both my gurus have really inspired me in different ways, I must say. Because Yamini Amma inspired me for the pure technique, you know, that she transmitted to me, not leaving anything with herself. And just, she was like a goddess. And then, you know, she would just do this and there would be a beauty in that, you know. So it was the technique and it was the way you use your body, your eyes, your head, and how you make a unison between the body and the dance form and the dynamics of the form. You know, you need to combine the two because after all, this is the instrument through which you do it. So that is how she inspired me. Saroja Amma inspired me in different ways because she came from a completely different lineage, from the Kattamanar Muthukumaran Pillai lineage. So her style and her sense of choreography was very different, which really helped me because I got to learn from two different lineages, you know, and two different banis. So when people say I'm this bani, that bani, I think that's quite irrelevant because every dancer makes his or her own bani. You know, so then I amalgamated these techniques that I learned, and the compositions that you learn are very different. The ones that I learned from her were very different. So all of that, you know, inspired me to create something of my own.
As a dancer myself, my favorite Nayika Bhava to show is Kandita Nayika. You can have so much fun on stage with it. I would love to know what your favorite Nayika Bhava is, Akka.
So my favorite Naika Bhava is the Mugdha Naika, you know, because the Mugdha is not only somebody who is inexperienced, she is also one who is constantly in a state of awe, in a state of wonderment, in a state of saying, all the time saying, oh, that's awesome. So I think that is my attitude towards life as well. Because for me, every single thing inspires and excites and interests me. It doesn't have to be connected to dance. Even anything to do with life, inspires me. So I'm constantly in a state of mugdha because I feel inexperienced. I want to experience myself. I want to experience, all the pleasures of life, of what life can offer you. So since I'm constantly in a state of being a mugdha in life, I like to portray that into the Naika.
Wow. Akka, in your many years of experience as a dancer, as a teacher, and enthusiast of the arts, what are some ways that you have devised to connect more with the audience? Because that's always some kind of battle all artists play. So I would love to know that from you.
So I feel when you are on stage, it goes without saying that you need to make a connection with the audience, right?
Right.
Because otherwise you could be dancing in your studio.
Correct.
So if you have taken the trouble to come onto the stage, and if the audience has taken the trouble to come and sit there, they want to watch you immersed in the process of dance. Not only immersed in the process of dance, but also to be able to communicate something beautiful and to evoke a beautiful sense of rasa, that rasanubhava that we talk about. So I feel that, when I'm telling a story, something that happened today morning, like for example, I was coming today morning and I was on this road, and then this person came up to me and she had this little child in her hand, and then I said, what happened to her? So, I am telling you that story, right? When I'm telling you the story, I am fully invested in the story that I'm telling you. I am not thinking at that time, how am I looking? Am I looking nice? What about me? I am not there at that moment.
Correct.
I'm urgently, excitedly, and with a purpose, I'm telling you this story without even for a moment thinking that Rama is telling the story to you. I'm not thinking about that.
Right.
It's a story which is important. It's what I want to communicate to you at that moment which is important. So similarly in dance, I think when you're on stage, it is what the content of what you want to communicate, which has to find priority at that moment, and it has to go beyond yourself. It has to go beyond your ego. And the minute you surrender to the form and to the act of communicating, then that becomes the essence of what you're standing there for.
As a traveling artist, Akka, you've taught numerous students from different banis, from different cultures, I'm sure. So my question to you is, how do you cater to each of those students, especially they're coming from different styles and everything? But like you said in the beginning, styles is just you make your own style. But as a teacher, how do you approach that?
So when I'm teaching my students in India, then they are students who come and literally, with me every time, every day, every minute. So there is something that I'm able to mold them into a specific style that is, that I am now following. But when I go across the world and when I'm sharing my dance compositions with everybody who may be having different ways of doing it, or especially in the terms when you come to nritta. Some kadathaka tarikadathum is different,
Right.
some tadinganathum is different, some natadus are different. But in the act of abhinaya, there is no barriers, right?
Correct.
It transcends all kinds of styles, so you don't have a problem there. But when there is a problem with nritta, so I won't even call it a problem, because I feel that what I choreograph has got a lot of scope to expand, and it's not rigid, and it's very porous. You can it's pulsating, it's thriving. There's no hard and fast rules. So I feel everybody is able to adapt to it in their own manner, but keeping the choreography intact. So it's quite a feat, but I know it is happening. So it's all good. It's all because people who really want to explore the choreographic perspectives that I have. So I think that is what opens up for them more than the item.
Correct.
Item is okay. You may be having 5 other items like that, but it is the choreographic perspective that I open their minds to, which will actually help them to choreograph their own pieces further on.
Very true. I'm sure all the dancers watching here would agree. We love your choreographies. We love the way you put in the ideas into the natyam, the choreography. What is the process you go through as a dancer? When you have an idea, how do you make it come into that specific choreography?
So, I always say that choreography is like having a baby, So first, that seed has to come inside you, and it has to grow inside you. You have to give it time to marinate. Like, for example, the minute you know you're pregnant, you can't say, I won't have the baby. You can't.
Right.
You have to go through the gestation period, right? So you have to wait patiently for that idea to grow inside you. And that doesn't mean you just sit and you think, oh, now it's going to grow inside. No, you have to work towards it. You have to start reading. You have to research. You have to look at life around you. If you're doing something on the rains, you have to look out and look at the rains. You have to look at the way the flower, moves like this the minute the water drops come. You have to look at the clouds. So you have to look. You have to be aware of life around you. So you do all of that, and then it slowly grows inside you. And once 9 months are over, now can you say, no, 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 I don't want to deliver the baby? You can't say that, right? The baby has to come
Right.
out. Similarly, this choreographic gestation period inside you, it can be any, it can be 3 months, depending on what kind of piece it is. It can be 3 years, it can be 3 months. But once you're ready, you have to push it out of your system, because that's important. Because for artists, you have to unlock your creativity, because it's otherwise just going to restrict you.
Right.
So then you release it from your body. That's when you start talking about it with musicians and start making the framework of the musicians. For me, I delay it till as much as I can before I even take it to the studio. I don't have the courage to take it to the studio for a long time. For a long time, I'm just thinking about it. I'm fantasizing. I'm writing notes. I'm reading. It's in my head. I speak to the musicians. I try to make a draft with music, with notes. I've still not danced it. Dance comes literally at the end.
Okay.
So initially, it's just happening inside me.
The process inside.
The process is happening inside me, and I wait for it. It has to force me to go to the studio and then to dance. I do not force myself. I mean, I just don't go and do it. Oh, I have to do this piece in another week's time, so let me go and do. No, it doesn't work like that. It has to talk to you itself, and then I start working on it. Then I realize I've created so much material, but actually what I have to do is just this
Mainstream it.
much. Yes. So it is a distilled work of everything that I've thought, all the thoughts that I've had, and all the things that I've read. It all comes together. So I always say that the success of a choreography is not what you do, it's what you don't.
Okay.
It's what you don't. It's what you delete. It's what you don't bring to the table. It's what you do not show. But that doesn't mean you don't look at that. You work on that also, because the essence of that is always distilled into what you do. So it's a macroscopic view that you have to create of the piece, and finally what you present is a microscopic view of that macroscopic thought. Okay, because you can't bombard the audience with so much of information.
Correct. Very
You
true.
know, you need to bring it, scale it down, and make it simple, direct, and you need to tell the story in an urgent manner. Like I said, when I'm telling you the story, it's the story that is important.
Thank you. And last but not least, Akka, your advice or tips for upcoming dancers who are watching this, who are inspired by you. Few words for them.
So I think it is important to, of course, hard work, dedication, good teacher, family support, talent. I think all this you already know, right? So I'm not going to say anything new with that. All these are given, I feel. You need to be dedicated, you need to have hard work, you need to have a good teacher, you need to have family support, you need to have talent.
Correct.
All of that is important. But what I think that really what makes a dancer really catapult to a different realm of excellence or realm of recognition, that name and fame and whatever we talk about. One is consistency. That is very, very important.
नयनं मधुरं हसितं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं हृदयं मधुरं गमनं मधुरं मधुराधिपते